You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So the big day in Washington D.C. is tomorrow, but today's already a big day in the U.S. Capitol with lots of meetings, lots of preparation taking place. And our own colleague, Clement Manyathela, host of the Clement Manyathela Show, between 9 and 12, is already in the U.S. Capitol, and he joins us now on the line. Clement, a very good morning to you, afternoon from us. What's actually happening today? Who's meeting who with what in mind? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Well, good morning from the US, but good afternoon to you there. So what's happening today is just the final touches ahead of the meeting yesterday. I do understand that yesterday, Minister of Trade and Industry Pakistan, who met with some senior officials from the State Department just to iron out what is going to happen today. What is currently happening right now is that President Cyril Ramaphosa, as we speak, is from Minister Ronald Lamola and Minister Pakistan, the Minister of Agriculture, John Steenhuisen, and the Minister in the Presidency, Kumbuzo Nchaveni. So they're trying to craft a plan on what the approach is going to be tomorrow. So that's what's happening now. The advance team has been here. They've met with the U.S. Senior officials in the Trump administration, and it's good to go for tomorrow's meeting.
So is tomorrow a single meeting, or are there a number of meetings? Obviously, if one can call it, the showpiece of all of this will be that moment where the cameras are in the Oval Office or some other part of the White House. The two heads of state are present, and we don't know what's going to happen. Then you'll tell us. But before that, how long? Who's behind closed doors with who and for how long?
So Bloomberg, I don't know if you've seen reporting this morning that the Mexican government plans to offer Elon Musk somehow a workaround of local black ownership laws for Starlink to operate in the country, and that they're hoping that this is going to ease some tensions. I'm mentioning this example because that's exactly what I'm also hearing, John, and I'll tell you in a bit about the conversations that I had off record about an hour ago. And this is already being reported because Elon Musk is likely going to be in that meeting. So you ask about how many meetings are going to be there. We know about the official meeting. Other meetings have already taken place between yesterday and today between President Cyril Ramaphosa's delegation and the Trump administration senior officials. So that has already been laid out as to what kind of form this meeting is going to take tomorrow. What we don't know now is President Cyril Ramaphosa going to meet separately with Elon Musk tomorrow? Are they going to talk about Starlink as being reported by Bloomberg? Is the president only going to meet with President Donald Trump? We understand that Marco Rubio has to give testimony in one of the hearings tomorrow the whole day. So there's questions about whether or not he will be there. But what I heard yesterday was that there were, murmurs about Elon Musk being part of that meeting. If you will allow me just for a minute, John, I just came back to the hotel now from a meeting that I had, off-record meeting, which I have to be honest, really scared me a lot because yesterday I spent a lot of time with President Cyril Ramaphosa's team at their hotel, and they were very confident. They seemed to have a plan ahead of this meeting. And today, I met with the former, if you remember, the former U.S. ambassador to South Africa, Ambassador Ruben Brigitte.
Right.
He's back here in Washington, D.C. I had a meeting with him, and he took me to something called the Metropolitan Club. So this is like a golf club, not really a golf club. It's a special privileged club for a few politicians and business people who come by members only. And as I walked into that place, he introduced me to some people, some senators, congressmen, and he told them I'm a journalist from South Africa, and they started telling me about how a big mistake President Cyril Ramaphosa has made to come here to South Africa. It was an off-the-record briefing. I will not mention their names.
Sure.
But all of them were telling me, and there were about 3 senators there, John. They said, that's going to be an embarrassment tomorrow. They said the South African government doesn't have anybody who sympathizes with them. What scared me the most as well, John, is that they actually do believe the genocide stories. because they said the way South Africans are treating the white Afrikaners there is ridiculous. And when I try to reason and to say, but that's not really the case, they don't get it. So they actually, if you think Donald Trump is the only one who actually believes that disinformation, then we are wrong. And the mood in Washington, D.C. is very antagonistic towards President Cyril Ramaphosa. A lot of the senators here believe that he's going to be embarrassed tomorrow.
So Clement, say a bit more about this. Obviously, you're being extremely discreet on who you met with. Are those can you say which side of the aisle they're from? In other words, Democrats or Republicans, or was this a mix?
Yeah. So I spoke to two Democrats. I spoke to two Republicans and one Democrat. And even the Democrat senator said, this is the biggest mistake. And he said, apparently they have even advised the president's team that they must not take up this opportunity. And they decided to go ahead with the meeting. And this is now the Democrat senator who's talking to me. And he said that was the advice that was even given. And I'm not sure, I'll confirm this with the team from the presidency. But apparently they chose to go ahead with it. They said, even the Democrats said, there's no way you're going to be able to reason with Trump. There's no sympathy here. And one of the things they mentioned was the ICJ case. They said, if the president thinks he's going to walk away tomorrow without having made any concessions, then he must think again. Because if there's one person who's going to walk away winning out of that meeting tomorrow is Donald Trump, and we're going to have to concede on things. So, yeah.
So Clement,
that's what they said.
So Clement, just in terms of timelines, when are we expected to get that public element of the engagement? Are we looking? I'd heard around midday U.S. time, 6 o'clock hours.
Yeah. Yes. So because we've got a group here as part of the presidential corps, the journalists that are with the president. So they've indicated on our group that, we're going to be in the White House tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning, because it's a whole process to get us there into the Oval Office as foreign journalists. But we're told that from now, the preliminary plan is that the meeting will take place around 12 midday, but they did say that things could change. But yes, it looks like midday, US time, 6 p.m. that side. That's when we're going to start seeing the two leaders either in the Oval Office before they get into those closed meeting, or them coming out of that meeting and telling us what they have discussed.
Clement, just a final question, and I want with this question maybe to kind of wrap a number of things that you've shared with us, and very interesting information indeed. But you've spent time with the South African delegation. You've also had an opportunity through the senators you met to get a sense of what the mood is in Washington. So here's my question: what goal did the South Africans set for themselves in coming here? Because is it beyond comprehension that, for example, there could be a public dressing down where South Africa's position at the ICJ, South Africa's position on land and so on, whether that's correctly informed or not, that we are hauled over the coals for that. But nevertheless, in spite of all of that, there are fruitful and productive conversations about the quantum of tariffs on South African apples.
So the first thing is that the presidency said, when I spoke to the team yesterday, that the plan is not to discuss tariffs this time around.
Right.
The plan is to discuss trade, and that's part of the reason why they've brought in the Minister of Agriculture, because they indicated that they're seeing an opportunity here where you can open the US market to more agricultural products coming out of SA. So they really want to play on that. They think there's agribusiness, which is an exciting area of opportunity and partnership for US companies.
Right.
Hence, John Steenhuisen as the Minister of Agriculture is here. But the biggest thing that they said they want to do here is they want to discuss trade. They're hoping that there will be some agreements that are signed. But once again, I heard from the sources that I was meeting today that even Ambassador Bridgetty was asked to come to the White House yesterday. So there was a whole internal briefing with him yesterday because they wanted some information, it appears, about South Africa. I don't know what was discussed in that
Sure.
meeting, but they called him, and the information that I had was that there is not even a paper. There's a wording that they use here in DC when you are about to meet with the president. There's supposed to be a paper preparation of sorts. What they mean by that is, the U.S. delegation will say, this is what we want out. We are preparing these kind of agreements. The South African government will also say, this is what we're willing to offer. This is what we're trying to see. So you're preparing your own trade agreements, and then that is what you discuss. And apparently, from what I heard today, is that there's not even a paper that the US has prepared on what they want, which again stresses the fact that what is the point of this meeting? Is it a matter of that being a dressing down? Is it a matter of what is the point if really there is
Yes.
no official kind of confirmation from this side as to what do they want from us? Can we have a rational beyond the refugee issue and all the other ICJ issues? Is there an opportunity here for us to talk about trade? And from what I'm hearing today, it looks like that's not the plan from the White House. But we wait to see tomorrow, John.
Thanks so much, Clement Manyathela, on the line to us from Washington, D.C., getting wonderful access to all sorts of conversations and sharing it with us. Clement updating us regularly and, of course, doing his show from the U.S. Capitol tomorrow.
Analysis.
Where things stand
What you need to know. Drive home with John Perlman.
on 702.